Welcome to the Reverberations Podcast, where we explore the human experience and the journey of self-discovery. Thank you for tuning in. I'm your host, John Stewart, founder of 365, author, sound alchemist, specialist in vibrational medicine, and integrative wellness with a focus on emotional trauma. As always, it's an honor to share this time and space with you, as well as what supports this podcast. There's no questioning the importance of our dietary intake in regards to our overall health and wellness goals. Known as a transformation company, I was introduced to Purium a little under a year ago and implemented it as a staple in my daily personal and professional practice. Designed in consideration of human physiology, human metabolism, and human potential, the Daily Core 4 is made up of 4 pillars of natural Purium products to cleanse the body and satisfy its critical needs at a cellular level. Their products fit any preferred dietary lifestyle, whether you're looking for detox, life transformation, nourishment, weight loss, immune support, fitness, gut health. You will be supported on your journey. And perhaps what I appreciate the most is that Purium is in alignment with my values, sourcing from organic, sustainable farmers and practicing eco-friendly shipping with a commitment to be plastic-free by the end of 2021. Purium is a quality, trusted company with a vested interest in spreading economic freedom through plant-based wellness. Visit ishoppurium.com. That's PURIUM.com. Enter referral code AMPLIFYYOURLOVE for $50 off your first order. At 365, our mission is to facilitate and support the maximization of human potential and global sustainability by advocating whole health and promoting harmony within and throughout. 365's products and services are based on the ontology of mind, body, spirit, sound, where we address the full spectrum of well-being, physical, spiritual, mental, and emotional wellness. My mission as a practitioner is to lead clients to a clear and gentle understanding of their inner truth, untangling the energetic and subconscious constriction within our mind and body at a core level, loosening the intensity of belief patterns that no longer serve us, and providing an opening for us to remember and return to a state of harmony, natural vibrancy, and complete state of well-being. It all begins within, and it all begins with you. For 10% off products and services, enter code IAMLOVED at checkout. What's good, everyone? Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Reverberations. As always, it's an honor to share this time and space with you, to connect, to tune in, to share life experiences, to reflect, to learn, to grow, to be with one another, to slow down, to presence ourselves, to remember. It's what these episodes have offered is that when we talk about story, that we share it from the space of understanding the energy of what those moments offered, of what those moments encapsulated, of what those moments held within that experience. There's an empowerment. There's a liberation when we can step away from the attachment to the experience and be the observer to witness the energy of that experience. And it's funny because I was reflecting on the last episode, and in that episode, I really didn't share a whole lot of the experiences from high school. I shared just a few. I really didn't even share a lot of what unfolded during high school. I didn't share a lot about the experiences because there was a shift there. There was a moment when I could have just gone on and been on that treadmill of life, that I could have gone on, though that wasn't the path that was calling me. I didn't hear that message from the caller. Because when I tuned in and I listened to what the caller was actually saying, it was saying, follow the beat of your own drum. Be you. Follow your heart. Let your soul guide you. Listen and follow the magic. Let the mystery unfold. There's magic there. And like I shared in the last episode, one of the key awarenesses that came forward for me in high school was synchronicity and the teachings of Carl Jung. I was really fascinated by his teachings. I was really fascinated that he put to words what my life experience felt like. Symbolism, seeing patterns, witnessing that if something happened and then I placed my attention on it happening again, then I would continue to see a lot more of it popping up. Or when I thought of something, I would witness it would start to happen more and more. Or signs would show up that would lead me on this adventure of curiosity, of where there was the foundation of intentional living. So choosing a life for me that was full of adventure, where there was this curiosity about what was around every corner, really living the life as a choose your own adventure book. I didn't want to choose something that didn't invigorate my soul. During high school, I witnessed my stepfather rise in the financial world. I saw his success. I saw what that did to him. I saw how happy he was with his accomplishments. I saw how happy he was that he was able to provide the lifestyle that he was able to. I saw his level of pride in his success. I also saw how hard he worked to get there. I saw and experienced all of his sacrifices for him to be able to achieve what he did and what he felt that he needed to do to be able to provide for the family. Though money isn't a miracle maker. And I learned that firsthand in my life experience. So I made a vow that in my life, I would lead with passion, that I would live with intention and purpose, that I would create the life that I wanted to experience. And that's exactly why I chose to move out and why I chose to move to Boston after graduating high school instead of going to college. I followed my heart. I followed what lit me up. I followed my passion. I followed connectivity. I followed togetherness. I followed community. And at the same time, I honored my truth, my purpose. And this set the tone for my entire adult life. I moved back to Connecticut and went to school at Western Connecticut State University. I went back to playing tennis. I was studying business and marketing and found myself on that conveyor belt. And something didn't feel right. Something wasn't sitting right with me. I kept on finding myself distracted, like this wasn't the path that was made for me. It was like I was in school, though I wasn't in school. It was more for the companionship. I love to learn. I absolutely love to learn. Though I really didn't know what I was there for. It was more of a means to an end. And that just didn't feel right. Like I was saying, it didn't sit well with me. And if something doesn't sit well with me, my body starts to reject it. And I didn't really know what to do with it, though I just continued on. And part of the reason is one of the biggest storylines in my life that I needed to overcome. So here I am in college without really any direction. I really have no idea what I'm there for, other than to get a degree that would get me a job. But that really didn't have anything to do with what I really wanted in life. What I really crave, what I really find purpose in, is when I'm of service to others. Of when I'm able to see others love the shit out of themselves. Where I can support others on their journey of self-discovery. And recognizing that we don't need to be a slave to our past. That we don't need to suffer from the ghosts of our past. That we don't need to keep reliving the trauma over and over again. That we do deserve happiness, that we can create it together. And I wanted to be there for each and every single person that would allow me to find a career of where I would be able to combine my passion for music, my passion for being of service, and my passion for sharing love. And it's never been the romanticizing of love. It's always been about connection. It's always been about seeing someone's soul, of seeing beyond the veil, seeing beyond appearance, and listening to who people really are. For me, that's what I wanted to create. That's what I wanted in life. And I thought that it was completely attainable. I just didn't know the hows. I didn't know how that would all be able to come together. And then I found the rave scene. And that changed everything. From the first moment I walked in that room at NASA in New York City in the summer of '92, with a wave of people living freely, expressing themselves through dance, through dress, through makeup, through artwork, hugging each other, sharing their deepest emotions, seeing the entire energy shift in a room in a unified vibration of peace, love, unity, respect, powered by music, powered by sound. The energy of compassion, of empathy, that human connection was unlike anything that I'd ever seen, unlike anything I'd ever felt. That is what I've always known to be true. And I experienced it. I experienced what I had always dreamed of, what I had envisioned, what I knew was completely and totally possible for humanity, within and throughout, where I felt it. The people around me felt it. An entire room felt it. It felt like it reverberated throughout the entire cosmos. There was this connection with the divine, and I fell in love. Music was my savior. Music, once again, showed me the way. Music, once again, facilitated, amplified, and anchored passion and purpose, the journey of self-discovery. Up to the time that I found the rave scene, I was an MC, I was a break dancer, I was a hip-hop head to the core. I loved freestyle, I loved dance music. Though when I found the rave scene, I found my heart, I felt my soul. I experienced what I had always knew to be true. And here it is, over 25 years later. I'm still living that life. I found it so powerful how a DJ could manipulate the whole crowd through sound, through the volume, through the effects, through the various frequencies, through the arrangement of which the songs were played, the story that was created, the journey. And I witnessed the unfolding of it all right before me as I was participating in it. I'm experiencing the life that I know to be true and watching it all unfold in front of me. It was so fascinating to witness my life shift before me. It was like everything that I had felt that was possible for humanity, I'd experienced, I'd witnessed. I wanted everybody to have that experience. I wanted everyone to feel that level of connection. I wanted everyone to feel that love, to feel that sense of belonging, to feel that wave of empathy, of interdependence, of compassion, of togetherness, of unity consciousness. I wanted everyone to experience that. And I began to see where I wanted my life path to go. I just didn't know how to get there. I had no clue. I knew I needed the discipline. I knew I needed education. I knew I needed framework. I knew I needed something to take these collective experiences and be able to turn those into resources to be of service to humanity. And I was so confused. Here I am going to school for business and marketing, and it was like everything that I was learning was like how to capitalize on something, which was energetically not in alignment with what I felt within. It was all about competition. It was all about control. It was all about manipulation. And that didn't feel right to me. It didn't feel right at all. And one of the biggest lessons that came from that period of my life is that if you have to justify it or rationalize it, then it isn't right. Then it isn't serving our souls, yes. That there's not an equal exchange of energy there. And I could no longer rationalize staying in school. I couldn't justify the expense, let alone the guilt that I was feeling for not putting forth the effort necessary to get a degree. I was so unclear about my life path. There was things that I loved. There was things that I wanted to experience. There was things that I wanted to put all together, though I had no idea how. I had no idea what to do. The thought of pursuing a degree that didn't excite me made no sense. And as synchronicity would have it, a series of events, which really is my entire life, I could sit here and tell story after story after story about how one thing led to another. This crazy situation led to this situation, led to this circumstance, led to this unfolding, led to meeting to this person. I thought about this and then it happened. I thought about this and then that showed up. I wrote about this and then it happened. Life was a series of magical experiences unfolding before me, and it just kept on picking up steam. The older I got, the more magical it became. Life had so much to offer, and as shitty of a hand that I felt that I was dealt based upon my own life experience, I found magic in the mundane. And one day in this crazy blizzard, I was going to call off of work, but I worked for this place called Marcus Dairy where we delivered milk to our customer's doorstep, just like the old milkman. And I was the customer service team. So if I called out, that put a damper in the whole operation. So I ended up finding a way to work a couple hours late. And after I was done at Marcus Dairy, I still had another job in the evening at the mall. And mind you, there was this crazy blizzard coming through. So in between, I walked from Marcus Dairy over to the mall, which is maybe about a half mile in between. It was on the other side. And on my way walking over to the mall, I had my backpack on. I might have had some things in there that I shouldn't have. And was walking across, and all of a sudden, this white car, unmarked, comes hauling through the parking lot. Now, mind you, there was no cars. There was nobody there. I wasn't even sure if the mall was even open. And all of a sudden, this car comes speeding up, slams on its brakes, slides. Two guys get out of the car, and they're like, "Put your hands up, freeze." And I'm shitting myself at this point. And then they start laughing. And I'm like, what the hell is going on right now? And they're like, "Oh, we're just your friendly neighborhood Navy recruiter." And I'm like, "Are you serious?" And they're like, "Can we give you a ride? Where are you going?" And I was like, "No, it's okay. I'm just going up to the mall." And they're like, "No, it's okay. We got you." I'm like, "No, it's all right. It's just up there. Like, it's cold. It's snowing. Just let us give you a ride." I'm like, all right, I get in. And then they just start talking, doing their recruiting speech and all of that. And I'm so anti-military. There was nothing they were going to say. There was no tactic they were going to use that was going to be able to sway me to go into the service at all. So, I just get the ride and I go over to work. And then a couple days later, I'm getting off the train coming back from my girlfriend's house in Bridgeport. And I'm walking back to college and I see my friend Chris pass by. And I'm like, okay, it's 1:00 in the afternoon. He's got a job. What's he doing down here? And he definitely would have told me if he was coming down here. And that's just the type of friendship we had. We shared everything with each other. So here it is. I'm like, maybe it wasn't him, So I page him, no response. Page him, no response. Like, all right, cool, whatever, And then finally later he gets back to me. And I was like, "Hey, what's up? Were you down in Danbury today?" He was like, "Oh, yeah." Fumbling over some stuff. Didn't want to tell me. I'm like, "What were you doing down there?" He's like, Oh, nothing. I just had an appointment. I was like, where, at Dunkin' Donuts, dude? He's like, nah, I went into the recruiter's office, just to talk with him and stuff. I was like, no way. Just the other day, these two dudes like pulled up and I told him the whole story of what happened. He's like, oh yeah, this dude and that dude. I'm like, no way, man. He's like, yeah. He's like, you should go in and talk to him. And I'm like, hold up a second. What do you mean? He's like, well, I was thinking I want to learn something, but I don't want to go to college. So I felt, what's a better way to do it than to have Navy pay for my schooling and learn something along the way. And something hit me right there. And I sat with that and I was like, I need discipline. I knew that. And I was like, well, damn, that's kind of like killing two birds with one stone. I can get paid, get benefits for school, and learn discipline all at the same time. Why not? I'll go in and check it out. So I went down there with him when he was going up to Albany. I took my ASVAB, and apparently I scored very well. And they were like, do you want to go up to Albany with us? And I was like, sure, why not? So I find myself in Albany and I take this other test and they start freaking out. They bring me into another room. They bring this other guy in and they're like, so what do you know about physics? What do you know about science? What do you know about technology? And I was just like, I don't know, just from what I learned and what I study outside of school, I'm fascinated by it. And they're like, well, you got this score on this test and we want to do further testing. Are you open to that? You'd have to stay another night and then you could go back tomorrow. And I was like, well, why not? Another night out here, that's cool. And they were throwing the kitchen sink at me, whatever I wanted, out for dinner, out for drinks, out to the club. And then when I went in on the following day, they basically said, you have open invitation to anything that you want in the Navy. Here's what we recommend. We'd love to have you either in the nuclear power school or in gas turbine technology. And they were pushing for gas turbine technology. And I asked them, I was like, well, where are they based out of? And they were like, well, one's in Great Lakes, just outside of Chicago, and the other one's in Orlando. And I was like, wait, what? Orlando? Now my curiosity was piqued because I had always wanted to live in Orlando. It was my childhood dream. When I was looking at colleges, I was looking at all the schools in Florida. I knew that I was going to live in Florida. I knew that I was going to live in Orlando. And this was my ticket. So I was like, well, the nuclear power school sounds good. And they're like, well, there's three options that you have. You have electronics technician, electrician's mate, or machinist mate. And I was like, well, how long is each school? And how long will I be in Orlando? And they told me, and I would have been in Orlando for close to 3 years out of a 6-year tour. So I was like, okay, I think this works. I think I can make this happen. And I'm going in with a higher rank because of school. I'm going to progress faster because of the program. I'm going to get paid more, and I'll be able to be in school for a majority of the time that I'll be enlisted. And I'm in the best school, supposedly, that the enlisted service has. Sign me up. Let's do this. So I left school mid-year, right at the height of the rave scene in the Northeast. I'd given away what electrified my soul, that showed me how life could be, that revealed purpose. Though I was like a wildfire, I couldn't be contained. And I'm a strong believer in divine orchestration. And I knew that if I'd stayed going in the direction that I was going in at that time, I may have put myself in a position that would have compromised the direction in which I really, truly was being called to go in. I just kept listening. I just kept following my soul. I just kept surrendering. And the time from when I graduated, went to Boston, came back, and enlisted for the Navy, those 3 years were so impactful that those experiences support my guiding principles to this very day. The rave scene really was like life support. For me, it was a study on sustainability and harmonious coexistence, of how people could get along. Whether it was drug-induced or not, I saw it as a possibility. The feelings I felt are what I wanted to experience on a daily basis, a moment-to-moment basis. When I got down to Orlando, I didn't realize that Orlando was one of the top clubbing cities in the world. And I found myself on the outside looking in. Here I was in the Navy, now like, what the am I doing here? So after a few months of being down in Orlando and getting acclimated to being in the Navy and comfortable with my schedule and my schooling, started to go out with the guys, and we started going to different type of bars and things like that. Wasn't really my thing, but they had a list of places that were off limits, things that we couldn't go to. And so we would go to a lot of country bars, or we would go to the bar that was on base. And once in a while we would go to some of the clubs over at Disney, at downtown Disney. Though there was this one time of where we went to this one club, it was called Renaissance. And there was this DJ that was up on the 3rd floor, and he was playing like all the stuff that I was used to back up north. Like real deep, groovy, yummy house music. Florida wasn't really known for that. They were more known for their breaks. They were known for their trance, for the progressive house. And here it is that I walk in and I'm like, what is this? And I found myself going there every single Wednesday. And it was my salvation, you know? It was what I looked forward to on a weekly basis. And it all started to come to me that this is exactly where I'm supposed to be. This is what I am supposed to be up to. And everything that is happening for me. And I was witnessing it happen before me. I was watching it all unfold. And I was sitting there at Building 386 on the Navy base. And at that point, out of my class, about 3/4 of the people that were in my class had either failed out or had gotten moved on to something else. And I'll never forget, I was standing at the window looking out, and I saw one of my friends that was leaving, walking down the sidewalk towards TPD, which is where you go when you're ready to go on to your next assignment, Transient Personnel Detachment. And I knew that my time was coming. I knew it. I felt it. I couldn't explain it, but I knew that somehow I was going to get out. It came to me. I was like, I'm right where I'm supposed to be. This is where I am. This is what I've dreamed of my entire life. I'm in Orlando. I found my way here. The sound of music is ringing in my ear, reverberating throughout my entire body. My childhood dream became true by ways that I would have never imagined. And here I am with 5 years left on my tour. Though this deep knowing within that my time is almost up. That the miraculous, the magic, the wonder, the divine design would have its way. In the next podcast, we'll share the exit from the Navy and the entrance into forever. And as my son Caden says, just because an obstacle is in your way doesn't mean it has to stay there. Thank you all for tuning in to this episode of Reverberations. If any of this resonated, inspired you, touched you, please leave a comment, share it in your social media, share it with your friends. If you love what we're up to, click subscribe and visit our websites, 365.com, amplifyyourlove.com, and feel free to reach out to me. I'd love to hear from you. And please, remember, we are better together. Have an amazing day today. You are the creator. Together we are free. Celebrating each other for who we are, co-creating in this human experience.